Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. After Luffy beat Kaido, there was no pretending the world stayed the same. The Navy, the Yonkou, the revolutionaries, everyone took notice and basically said, okay, the stretchy kid really did become a king. And with all that chaos going on, it didn't take long for Luffy's name to reach every important corner of the world. Even the ones that had been quiet until now, like Shanks and his crew. That's when we get to the moment most fans had been waiting for. The reunion. Luffy and Shanks finally face to face. But what almost no one saw coming was that even though most of the red-haired crew wanted to see Luffy, one of them didn't. And it wasn't just anyone, it was Yasopp. Yeah, Usopp's dad, the legendary sniper, the guy who spent his whole life as a pirate, and even after finding out his son was sailing with the future pirate king, never went to see him. And now that Usopp has become a real warrior, he faced a Toby Rappo, mastered Haki, fought beside Luffy and Wano, Yasopp still says, not yet. Like, what do you mean, not yet? That's where things start to get interesting. Because if this were just a case of an absent father with guilt, he's had plenty of time to deal with that. The truth is, I think there's more to it. Maybe something mystical, maybe a technique, maybe he saw something in the past, or even the future. Maybe he's not afraid of breaking Usopp emotionally, but of triggering something. Maybe even awakening some kind of dormant ability or emotional trigger. Think about it. Yasopp is said to be one of the best snipers in the world. Ben Beckman might be Shanks' right-hand man, but Yasopp, he's the one they say never misses a shot. Never. If that's not just hype, then his observation Haki must be insane. Like, next level. Like, see beyond the present kind of Haki. Like, he might be able to catch glimpses of possibilities, flashes of what could happen. Imagine if Yasopp's observation Haki is so advanced that he sees potential outcomes, not the fixed future, but flashes of what might happen depending on his actions. And every time he thinks about reuniting with Usopp, he sees something bad, a loss, a separation, or maybe Usopp unintentionally unlocking a power that's been lying in wait. Think about it. Usopp being called God Usopp started as a joke, but it's becoming more and more real. What if there's something different in his bloodline? Maybe some kind of ancestral legacy waiting to be awakened by his father's acknowledgement? And One Piece has already shown us that emotions and bonds have real power. Nico Robin cried and unlocked something. Sanji, the moment he accepted his past, awakened physical changes. Zoro accepted the faith of Wano and ignited his soul through Enma. So what if Yasopp is holding back because he's afraid that seeing Usopp could activate who Usopp truly is? Maybe Yasopp knows. Maybe he heard a legend, saw a prophecy, or learned a secret on his journeys with Shanks about a people who carried a power in their bloodline that only awakened with their father's recognition. Maybe Usopp is part of that. Or maybe Yasopp himself holds a technique, something like a fate bullet that can only be passed from father to son. And maybe that bullet holds so much power that once it's given, it changes Usopp forever. Maybe that's why Yasopp trained to never miss a shot, because one day he'd have to take the most important shot of his life, passing that power to his son without hurting anyone. What if it's all tied to some ancient sniper technique, like the Heaven's Inheritance shot, a forbidden move passed down only through a sniper bloodline that existed even before the pirate era? Something that blends observation and armament Haki at such a high level that you can literally shoot your soul into a bullet. I know, it sounds crazy, but in a world where Katakuri sees the future, Mihawk slices the ocean, and Luffy bends physics as a living cartoon, it's really not that far-fetched. And maybe the technique can only be used once in a lifetime. And Yasopp's afraid of using it too soon. He looks into the future and maybe sees Usopp isn't ready, because it's one thing to beat Sugar or Treble and become a hero to the Tontatas. It's a whole different thing to carry a legacy that could shift the entire pirate era. Maybe Yasopp's not avoiding Usopp. Maybe he's protecting the right moment. Because his Haki shows him that if they meet now, Usopp won't get it. He'll be angry. He'll push for it. He might get hurt. He might try to force the power before it's time. And that brings me back to a detail most people overlook. Yasopp isn't just a sniper, he's Shanks' sniper. The same Shanks who walked into a meeting with the Gorosei, the same Shanks who stopped Kaido from interfering at Marineford, the one who makes the Navy tremble just by showing up. That crew isn't normal. They know stuff the rest of the world doesn't. So maybe Yasopp knows too. Maybe he's seen the previous Joy Boy. Maybe he knows who the real enemy behind Imu is. Maybe he knows that Usopp has a role in the final battle. And what he's avoiding isn't a reunion. It's the triggering of a destiny too heavy to carry alone. Maybe that reunion has to happen in a specific place, under a specific sky, maybe on an island of legendary snipers we haven't even seen yet. A place where Haki is tested by bullets, where the wind guides the shot. A place only fathers and sons connected by blood can enter. And Usopp's just not ready for that test yet. Yasopp sees it. That's why he says, not yet. It's not that he doesn't want to, it's that he knows. If he does it now, it could ruin everything. And maybe Shanks knows too. Maybe the whole red-haired crew knows, but they don't say anything because they respect timing. They're different from the rest. They don't fight with brute force alone. They strike at the right time, with the right impact, at the perfect moment. Now think about this. What if the technique we came up with in part 1, like Inheritance Bullet, or Shot of Destiny, or, I don't know, Truth Shot, that one's pretty good, is actually something that requires 2 parts? Like a hockey that connects as if Yasopp has one half of it and Usopp has the other? Kind of like the Conqueror's hockey, but in the form of insane precision. I imagine it as a technique that can only be done by 2 people perfectly in sync. And that's why it needs blood, lineage. Like those dances only twin siblings can do exactly the same way, except instead of dancing, it's aiming, shooting, wind, calculation, and trust. Picture this scenario. In the new world, on some island, there's a threat so big that not even Luffy can handle it alone. Maybe something that requires precision, something that needs to be hit from far away, something hidden up in the clouds, like an ancient artifact, a celestial structure, an enemy that moves like the wind, something that can't be taken down with brute force, but must be struck with one perfect shot. And there's Usopp, trying to aim, shaking, knowing that if he misses, everything's over. Then Yasopp shows up. No hugs, no celebration, just a serious look like it's time. And at that moment, they both take aim together, sync their hockey, and activate something never seen before. I think maybe Yasopp's observation hockey is so sharp, he can see wind currents, the Earth's rotation, the time it takes for sound to bounce off a mountain. Maybe his hockey is sensitive enough to calculate the reflection of a bullet on a drop of water. And if he passes that on to Usopp, even if just for a few seconds, Usopp could reach a level he never imagined. But unlike his dad, Usopp is creative. He's the inventor. He'd look at it and think, if I can see the bullet's path, I can make it change midair. And then he combines that with his plants, his pop greens, his kabuto techniques, and boom, there's a new kind of attack. One that mixes observation hockey with crazy creativity. The ability to change a bullet's fade in midair, like chameleon hockey, you know? He shoots, but the bullet changes color, shape, direction, because he sees what needs to happen on the way. He's not just a shooter, he becomes a manipulator of trajectories. And that's when things get even more fun, because maybe this power is so insane that even Yasopp himself never fully mastered it. Maybe the dad isn't the master, just the forerunner, and the real master would be the son. And he fears that, not out of jealousy, but because he knows once Usopp awakens that ability, there's no going back. He becomes a warrior of fate, someone who no longer lies about what he's going to do, because now he can make the impossible happen with a single shot. The kid who said, I defeated 50 million fighting fish, becomes the man who can actually do it with one bullet, because his hockey reveals the enemy's heart, fear, movement, and the bullet follows that. Maybe Usopp develops a kind of hockey no one else has, an observation, hockey that reads emotions from a distance, something that comes from his sensitivity, his empathy, because Usopp is the guy who understands fear. He lived with it. And fear connects people. Usopp feels fear, and that's why he can feel others' fear. He sees the enemy's fear, so he knows where the enemy will fail. And then he shoots that spot. Fear becomes the target, and the bullet hits. This might sound like pure fantasy, but hear me out. Luffy literally became a mythical rubber man who laughs and reshapes reality with freedom. Zoro cuts through concepts with cursed swords. Sanji flies and kicks with modified DNA. Frankie is a soda-drinking machine. And Robin grows infinite arms with flowers. So why couldn't Usopp become the guy who reads the soul of whoever he faces and shoots at the exact moment their heart beats weakest? That's One Piece. It's not about cold logic, it's about feeling, connection, and style. And Usopp's style is this, turning fear into courage with creativity. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.